Good morning everyone, my name's Kim from Professional Advantage. Thank you very much for joining us this morning for our What's New in SharePoint 2010. I'll just do a couple of quick housekeeping things. If we could just make sure that everyone mutes their lines, whether they've come in through the phone or through your PC, if you could just mute your microphone. Also, there is a section where you can type in questions during the session. Please feel free to do that. We will open up to questions at the end also. And for now, I'll hand over to Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this What's New in SharePoint 2010 webinar. I'll just very quickly introduce myself. I am part of the SharePoint team based out of Melbourne. I've had experience pretty much from 2002 SharePoint right the way through to this very exciting 2010 edition. This format of this presentation, we're going to expect that you have some familiarity with SharePoint 2007 or 2003. We're going to go through and introduce the enhanced functionality and changes in SharePoint 2010, and we'll also try and demonstrate a few of the concepts using the Microsoft IWI demo machine. You can download this demo from Microsoft, so I think it's a very good demo machine to use as you can familiarize yourself with some of the concepts that we may cover. As Kim mentioned, you have the ability to ask questions through the presentation, and we'll address all of those at the end. So, welcome to the wheel. The 2007 Microsoft SharePoint Pi is gone, and we're now focusing on business needs rather than just technologies. It maps into these 6 workloads here, and we will be covering all of these in a high level of detail. Microsoft is focusing on connecting and empowering people and cutting costs with unified infrastructure. The ability to rapidly respond to business needs through the use of external systems and composites and insights, and we'll cover all of these in detail. Sites is the first and obviously most important of the workloads, as all of the potential of SharePoint is based on the delivery of easy to own and easy to use websites, and that's both for internal and external users. SharePoint combines the power of collaboration, content management, and also line of business applications in an easy to use and easy to own solution. There have been significant enhancements to the infrastructure functionality in SharePoint, and we also have new naming conventions around SharePoint and Foundation Server. The cloud deployment has been fully scaled out, enabling us to host these SharePoint solutions in PA hosted environments and cloud solutions, and also through third-party providers such as BPOS. Infrastructure requirements have increased quite significantly, and SharePoint 2010 does require significant hardware infrastructure. We can cover that in a little bit more detail, but they are again looking at using the single infrastructure, reducing the initial cost by having a single platform, and that also means it's simple and more straightforward for your IT managers to develop and maintain and support. The site advancements around access, the mobile device capabilities, so being able to use your PDAs and iPads and every other external sort of device that typically didn't have very good access to 2007 has been improved. We also have very significant improvements to the offline functionality, so being able to maintain full sites and workspaces, and also integrating with those with your 2010 Office client, and also the ability to integrate with line of business applications. So connections and consumption of, say for example, CRM data can take minutes, not days, to deploy. The user experience has been pretty much been rebuilt from scratch, which is fantastic. It's not so table-based anymore as it was in 2007. The ribbon has made it into Office 2010, and workspaces are built on wiki functionality, which enables users to rapidly deploy information pages. You can do simple look and feel theming and branding, and the web parts are all more accessible, with the functionality being able to be modified using the new additions of SharePoint Designer. The Office Suite integration, I actually read an article recently on Business Review Weekly, and they mentioned that the most powerful new feature of the Office 2010 suite is the integration points into SharePoint. Almost all of the apps actually get a look in, and Outlook has greatly increased the social networking and being able to find information and people online and even offline. This goes even further to have Visio diagrams which can actually be dynamically authored and workflows created in a client, and we also have PowerPoint broadcast services across the 2010 site. Office web applications have been deployed pretty much similar to what we have with Windows Live Apps. So all of those are available now inside the Office 2010 and SharePoint 2010 volume license. And audience targeting is greatly improved to enable you to target specific content to certain people inside the organizations. So we're focusing a lot of our time recently on the intranet side and development of 2010. We've deployed several intranet environments already on this technology, and we're finding that some of these advancements have really improved and increased the time that it's taking us to it's decreasing the time it's taking us to deploy these, but improving a lot of the functionality around the Office user interface, how these differently connect in the social computing, and also the awareness of being able to find where people are inside the organization, what they're doing, what they're working on. That's not to say that that's all we're focusing on. As I mentioned, the single platform for using SharePoint 2010 also scales out very easily to deploy extranet and intranet environments all on the same hardware. So again, that's following in with that Microsoft theme of trying to reduce these costs and maintaining all of this on one single architecture. So we're working through the feature wheel, and we're going to touch on communities. Businesses are built on people, and the extended reach of this technology enables us to extend across geographical boundaries that typically would be a hindrance on any sort of communication. It empowers people to work together in ways that are most effective for them, and it enables them to collaborate in groups, share knowledge and ideas, and connect and find experts easily. You can see here that some of the features that SharePoint 2010 provides to break down the barriers. We have these people profiles, and it's a bit of a silly thing to say, but it does seem as though these things are moving towards the social computing aspect. So if you think of things like Facebook, you can put in your photographs and your presence. It's very beneficial, we've found, with organizations that maybe have a high amount of volunteers, or they have a very distributed office architecture. So being able to find who these people are by photo and actually seeing what they're currently working on by using a presence is a very powerful functionality. It's also tightly integrated with Office Communication Server and Unified Comms. So simply by one clicking on some of these things, which I'll show you in a little moment, you can actually dial a co-worker with single clicks. You have asked me about functionality, which enables you to advertise skill sets and features and things that you are proficient in inside your organization, and you can also see what recent activities you've been working on. Notice boards allow you to quickly post information, whether it be, maybe it's a way to quickly get a discussion going, and it negates the need to have global emails to get information. The org chart and org browser has been fully redesigned. It's actually being delivered now in Silverlight, and you can actually jump between certain levels in the organization, and all of that's based on line of business application data that's stored in Active Directory. You have the ability to add colleagues and start creating a bit of a community or a network, and this could be used for things such as project teams, or maybe you could also enter some social bookmarks, so tagging things that you find that are worthwhile, and people that are inside your team or your network can see what you've been looking at inside these intranet environments. It's not to say that the social network abilities in SharePoint 2010 cannot extend beyond this sort of simple personal use. You can also use it as a way of communicating within these geographically dispersed teams. Or even we're finding that a team that is possibly hard to get in any one place at a time, you can use these team environments and the ability to sort of collaborate and communicate in real time. The blogs have had significant improvements over the MOS 2007 deployments. That there's now far better edit options. The ribbon UI and an updated interface have made it a really powerful business tool. The blogs and wiki engine in SharePoint 2007 was a bit of a last-minute addition, and some of the functionality was a little bit lacking. We're finding now that these are really tightly integrated into SharePoint 2010. We have the ability now to create tagging models, and this enables you to categorize information through the use of metadata, which would be the information about the information. And it can be formal in an enterprise taxonomy. We'll cover that a bit later. Or it could be informal by generating sort of a folksonomy, so tagging and classification sets defined by your users. The tag clouds provide sort of an easy-to-use presentation of what's popular, and any of you that are familiar with with typical web-based blog engines, you can see on the screenshot there, the things that are being tagged the most often obviously are the largest, and gives you a way to sort of see what's going on inside a certain site. We also have the ability now to do ratings inside our document libraries, rich media, whatever, and you can actually rate a document from a scale of 1 to 5, and it gives you the ability to see, say for example you've gone into a library and you've found a set of information and you're not entirely sure which document you actually want to open. Some of these ratings could maybe point you in the right direction. And we also finally there have colleague and keyword suggestions, and it's really based on communication patterns and memberships. You can suggest to people what you may want to join, or what alerts or notifications you may wish to subscribe to. Content is obviously a fundamental feature of SharePoint 2010, and in 2010 we've noticed it's easier to create, manage and use. In fact, recently I read the Gartner report for Magic Quadrant for portals, and Microsoft not only maintains its leadership ranking, but it's actually moved into the #1 position on the report. In terms of features and benefits, the document management has been improved greatly. We'll cover that in more detail in the next slide, but there has been sort of fundamental improvements to SharePoint 2010 to the point where now with a little bit of configuration effort you can seriously consider it as an enterprise document management solution. The Office integration has really come a long way, as I mentioned earlier, and SharePoint includes a Connect to Office toggle which actually tells Office which SharePoint libraries you commonly interact with. You can build up like a SharePoint sites repository which goes into your Office 2010 and it enables you to make libraries available when you're launching an Office application. The Content Organizer, which is new for 2010, enables you to route content to locations based on content types and metadata. So depending on what the document actually is, you can have it going to certain locations inside the site, and this obviously minimizes errors in content classification, and it also improves the search capabilities. Metadata navigation, that's again a very new and very powerful feature to SharePoint 2010. It takes the metadata set that the documentation or items have been tagged with, and you can actually progress through the navigation based on those options. It replaces the quick launch on the left navigation, and you can drill down into certain types of document based on their actual navigation metadata. Compliance was a pretty fundamental issue. It's definitely not now. We have compliance everywhere, so retention, legal holds, these are all available through SharePoint Server with minimal customization or configuration, and as well it actually goes through to the Office client as well, so compliance managers can set and identify policies at a document or even a group of documents. We also have an extended disposition functionality as well. So we have more granular management options, we can define review cycles, and we can make sure that we dispose of draft content in the same way that we do our production content, and we can actually configure all of this within workflows. So as I mentioned, the document management functionality has come a long way, and we're finding some really great improvements here. The way that we apply metadata, again, which is the categorizing and I guess applying the information about information we're storing, it's very non-invasive. It's built into the standard save and upload features, and it's very powerful to the fact that we can actually set metadata and move it across different sites and site collections. You can of course search for the documents based on their metadata now, and using ratings or comments, those tags, and it enables you to find the information that you're looking for more efficiently and more effectively. The Managed Metadata Service is a way to enable you to share those metadata taxonomies, and as I mentioned, it can now go across different site collections and web applications. And we also have content types as well, and they've come a long way in that we can associate information management policies, and they as well can be shared across farms and site collections. So this of course stops you needing to create content types in each farm or site collection, which obviously reduces the management overhead. We also have rich media management. 2007 could store rich media such as video and audio, but there was really no way of applying sort of rich metadata or interacting with that inside the browser. It can be now displayed through a Silverlight web part in SharePoint 2010, so there's again no more need to be dropping in third-party video players or applications. And as I mentioned, you can also stream video directly from a SharePoint 2010 site. And one of the very funky new features that we've found great success with is the use of document sets, and it's enabling you to manage groups of related documents as a single entity. So say for example you might have a proposal and it's made up of a bunch of different documents. You can sort that all into one unique document set. It has a unique identifier, and it remains persistent through the life cycle of the document. So I'm going to jump very quickly now into a demo, and this is based, as I mentioned, on the Information Worker demo from Microsoft. It's all of this is running on my laptop, and as I mentioned, there are some quite the requirements for hardware are quite high, so it doesn't quite run as fast as I would like, but hopefully we can go through and I can show you some of the context. So this is SharePoint 2010, and this is based on IW Worker, which is it's basically it's based on Contoso. It's a project site. They do they sell and construct and manufacture digital products. And you can see here we've got a project, and some of the things I've already mentioned. So having a media web part, and we've got some of our document library showing here. You'll already start to notice, if you're familiar with SharePoint 2007, that a lot of these fundamental things, such as the quick launch navigation, we have our top navigation, our breadcrumbs, search boxes, etc. All of these are still here. There's just a bit of a different look and feel, and it's a lot cleaner and easier to navigate. What I'll show you now is I'll move into a project site, and in this project site, this is actually now built on a wiki engine, which enables your team members to sort of rapidly go in and be able to create pages and sort of information repositories and the like. By selecting Page Up here on the top, I actually get a ribbon which enables me to perform a bunch of different operations on this page. If I select Edit, I'll actually go into the edit mode, and this opens up a fully dynamic, almost like a Word type interface inside the browser. You can see that the ribbon here has changed to give me page editing abilities. And say, for example, I wanted to, okay, so I'll say make an announcement to everyone in my project site to please read, whoops, and of course, as I mentioned, because this is a wiki interface, I can do things just like quick links. There's a bunch of different commands that you can use if you're familiar with wiki editing. Most of them work in here, so I can just actually put in a link. And as simple as that, I've actually just added a quick notification, added a link, and once I save that, obviously this will link to the product release calendar. We also have the ability to enter media, whether it be pictures or video and audio, and we also can define like markup styles to maintain a consistent look and feel throughout the entire site. You can see on the right here we have different web parts, so many applications that are performing different functions. On the right here we have a picture library. So say for example I was to click on that, my delightful ribbon here will actually give me contextual options to be able to edit that web part. So I quickly save this. So we can actually set up page publishing and review similar to 2007. We have all of those workflows in place, and those are very straightforward and quick to configure. While that's ticking over, I will show another site. So this is like a mobile view, and all of the pages inside SharePoint 2010 have a mobile interface. We can actually use these on like things like Windows mobile phones, BlackBerry with a little bit of configuration to go through things like firewalls and remote access can be configured. But this is really for just finding, say, for example, maybe you just wanted to find an announcement, or you can actually download full documents and the like. So let's try and get that off again. Another thing, as I mentioned, was the use of having my sites, and this is a my site here, and this is about all that profile information. You can see here we've got John Evans, and he's a marketing specialist. You can see his contact information. If I had OCS running, I could actually just call him directly from here. You can see his presence, and he also has sort of like a status update, really, where he can say what he's doing or what he's working on, or maybe he's upset about Melbourne's weather. We also have, under his overview, he can actually list his skills. So this enables you to find, people inside the organisation based on maybe it's a certain project, or you can see that you want somebody that knows something about business intelligence, or he can do product review. And you can also go on and post notices on his noteboard, and you can see here that we've got people asking questions of which you could go and contact them and the like. If I select the organisation browser, as I mentioned, this is actually now delivered in Silverlight. It's taking information directly from AD, and this is fully dynamic, so you can sort of traverse through the entire organisation structure pretty much at any level. Obviously, you're going to get out of this as much as you put in, so getting people to enter profile information, getting them to upload their photos. Once it's all in there, I've actually seen a couple of very good deployments of this already, where people have sort of made the effort to make sure that this is a tool that everyone will use. Now I'll step down into a project site. So this is actually for a product. This is the M300 digital camera, and you can see here we've got a shared documents library, we've got a document set, and these are for each quarter for the document. If I select in this document set, you can see that actually the document set contains a bunch of Office formats, really. It contains an Excel, PowerPoint, and also a Word document. It even contains some rich media, and this is all packaged up in one content type. So every time you'd create a new document set, you would have all of this information available, and all you need to do is enter the information based on these templates. If I take that one step further, I can actually show you the managed metadata. So if I edit the properties of this document set, I can see here that I can actually change the content type, I can enter enterprise keywords, and I can also select from the managed metadata store. So this enables you to maintain a consistent metadata store throughout your organization. It enables you to ensure that your users are putting in information that's actually relevant and that's going to improve things like search results and filtering. And you can also have somebody actually manage this. So if the end user can't find exactly what they're after, they can send feedback to the person who is in ownership or management of these metadata sets, and they can do all of this through the browser. Very quickly, I'll show you some of the Office integration that we're all very excited about. You can actually now collaborate on documents in real time if all your users are using the Office 2010 interface, and you'll see any conflicts to information that you're entering in real time, and the Office client will actually alert you to enable you to understand what's going on, who's editing what, and if there are any conflicts, you'll get a conflict management screen to actually compare the changes and work out what you want to take. Appear to have broken that one. So as I mentioned, the integration points into Office, we have, this is called Office Backstage, and we can actually see all of the properties that were actually assigned to the document in SharePoint. And this is really giving the users the ability to start using SharePoint as a document management system or a content management system, and they really don't even need to use SharePoint. And you'll find that they're probably using SharePoint without even realizing they're using it. When they are saving documents, you can see here we can even save metadata and the like directly through the Office client. So this is really powerful. There's always a couple of trains of thought and about how people actually work with documents, and some people work directly inside Office and they're happy doing that, or other people, you know, they check in, check out, they edit items and then they upload them through SharePoint. But the actual integration points into SharePoint, you can see that because we've bought it from this location, we can save it directly back in there, and as I mentioned earlier, you can actually save locations to your location list, so you can save information directly from your clients. Very quickly, another thing that is new to SharePoint 2010 is SharePoint Workspace, and that was formerly known as Groove, which was powerful but very difficult to use, and didn't really quite have the features and functionality that a lot of people expected. We can actually now synchronize entire libraries and sites down into SharePoint Workspace. By selecting that option, it opens it up in your Workspace client. You can see all the information, and then it takes it offline, so you can actually edit and view and also update things like metadata and the like while you're actually, say you're out in the field or you don't have network access or you're working from home. And then once you do connect back to your network location, it will automatically synchronize everything back into SharePoint. Again, if you do have things like conflicts, it will alert you to the conflicts and enable you to select the changes that you may wish to. So we'll jump back now into my slide deck. And we'll cover search. And search has been extended quite significantly, and they've added functionality available beyond that simple search box. In early 2008, Microsoft actually procured FAST, and it's found its way into SharePoint 2010 through the use of fast search. And it's all really about empowering users to find the information they require more efficiently and dynamically. It's moved beyond the 10 blue links, which is good, and it's introduced a visual and interactive experience, which enables users to, I guess, find and explore how they're connecting to information and people. And it's really an integrated solution, so it can tackle everything from the most challenging enterprise search requirements with a full customized deployment of fast search, but it can also maintain this sort of the out-of-the-box simplicity and consistency of, like a durable and secure platform. And you can definitely do more with search by, as I mentioned, customizing and building custom search solutions using sort of the common out-of-the-box tools. So by finding the right content, you get the ability to use the thumbnails and previews. Excuse me. So you can actually interact and view the content of files that you're returning in search without even loading a client application, which saves time. And if you were to download my 9 megabyte slide deck I'm showing you right now, that might take a little while over a connection, whereas you can just scroll through a couple of slides to see if it's even appropriate for what you're after. We have refinement panels, so search facets on the quick launch that enables you to drill down very quickly into metadata or filters that have been returned to restrict the search results and provide a more refined result. We also have DigiMean and related queries, which I guess it sort of prompts you for typing matches and sort of says, if you spell something wrong, it will give you a suggestion based on previous experience that it's picked up. And the social behavior actually improves the relevance, and what that means is that the more you use an item, obviously the more it's ranked in the future, and the higher it comes in your search results, and the ranking counts towards the relevancy. We also now, excitingly enough, have full wildcard functionality in search. So you can see here on the screenshot that marketing being marketing, we actually have a bunch of PowerPoint slides. We have the relevancy sort by rankings up there on the right, and you can obviously these are pretty straightforward sort of sorting mechanisms. And on the left we have all of our drill down mechanisms to further improve or increase the relevancy of the results. And here is it's a screenshot of viewing something actually in the browser before downloading it, and also a did you know suggestion. People search has actually been it's pretty much been restructured as well, which is very good. It has a different look and feel, and you can actually search by through the use of that sort of social networking side for people's skills and expertise. It picks up on things like phonetics and nicknames, and it will show you actually recently authored content. This is a quick screenshot of the people search interface. You can see there that we've got like a vanity search. We have phonetic and nickname matching, so this is just picking up things like AD sales, the business unit, and sales, and it's actually sorting by social distance. Again, on the left we have our pivots or our search facets. And you also have your own search as well, so you can find out how many times somebody searched for you, and possibly update some keywords to enable you to be up the list a little more. And you can also see your recently authored content. The result layout and hit highlighting has been improved, so you can see where you're hitting results inside the actual content. And of course, as I mentioned, the sort by, which is relevancy, name, or social distance. So this is where all of the very fluffy stuff comes into play, and this is there's been some serious improvements into insights, and insights is really about working with sort of familiar tools and interfaces to deliver, I guess, insight into business, but using business analysis tools that a lot of people are familiar with. Performance point services have merged into SharePoint 2010, and this enables the development of highly functional rich dashboards, scorecards, and information from across a range of systems really can be mashed up into a single browser-based experience. As you can see from that little screenshot there, we have like Visio Services there, which is taking information from SCOM, which is System Center Operation Manager, and it's bringing in a real-time live diagram of server performance in a data center. So you can see what's up, what's down, what's performing, what's at load, all of that sort of stuff. And I've actually seen a real live demo of that, and it's just fantastic. So Visio Services is, as I mentioned, it's in there, and it's very powerful. You can connect it to external line of business solutions and situations. And of course, we also have a very enhanced Excel services deployment now available in 2010. So you have new workbook types, you have obviously Power Pivot, and there's actually a new sort of JavaScript model that enables developers to create these real rich interactive experiences. And so this is a quick screenshot of Excel Web Access showing a company dashboard, and all of those pivots across the top obviously affect what's being shown in those screens. And really what they're trying to deliver here with Insights is really enabling business users to be able to create insights for themselves. So enabling them to create their own dashboards using Excel. I mean, a lot of business users are very proficient in Excel, and we also have like improvements to analytics and visualization. So using decomposition trees, which I'll show you in a quick demo in a moment. But we also have navigation and administration being simplified, which it's making it more intuitive, and it's meaning that sort of management administrators can use monitoring and throttling to ensure that people are creating dashboards that are safe for the environment. Composites would be the last spoke of the wheel, and it's really about enabling users to sort of combine SharePoint functions with external or internal data and create sort of a customized solution. So you can sort of enable them to, it can be really done for any sort of business needs, but it's about maybe it's sharing access databases or Visio diagrams, or allowing them to create custom solutions using InfoPath forms and SharePoint Designer. But we've really seen sort of big enhancements at the way that they've accessed or made the data layer available to create these solutions, and it's a lot faster than it once was. That has really delivered probably the biggest fundamental change really is business communication services, and this really replaced the BDC, the Business Data Catalog, and it's a major update. So you can now extend the reach of your data to all the users, whether it be list data or data delivered through applications, but it's about connecting read-write connections to line of business applications, and you can even take that offline and synchronize to that line of business system when you come back online. Visio Services and as I mentioned, so you can have the diagramming capabilities and publishing results directly to the web through SharePoint, and we also have the ability to create SharePoint 2007 rich workflows, which are very procedural and straightforward. Quickly jump into a demo to show you some of the BI capabilities of SharePoint 2010. So this is a dashboard, which is this is composed of Power Pivot charts, scorecards, reports. You can see this is all about a digital camera sales. And here we have an Excel Web Access, which is customer sales satisfaction data. And you can actually just reload the workbook while that's loading. I'll quickly show you this. So by selecting, say for example, an actual product, all of the charts actually update. And as I mentioned, you could do things such as drill downs, or you could create a decomposition tree. So say for example, I wanted to drill down into this. As I mentioned, these are all delivered in Silverlight. By selecting this, I can say I want to drill down and see where my $1.1 million worth of sales, which territories it's been based in. So these are all my sales territories. Maybe I'll drill into my top one and see which promotion has been the most successful, and from there maybe I wanted to see which employee has actually been selling the most products. So depending on what information is stored in your OLAP cubes in the background, obviously you'll be able to drill down and provide sort of this really sort of powerful business intelligence. If I scroll down to here, this catches up. So this is your Excel web access, and this is, as I mentioned, fully real-time power pivots, and you can really the advancements to Excel in SharePoint 2010 has been quite phenomenal. So it's more like it's quite a lot like a client interface really through the browser. This is a chart web part, which is again a new web part that's new to SharePoint 2010. And you can see that this is it's a product inventory, so sort of like a stock take, what's on hand, what's on order, and this is actually coming from an external database. So say for example you had an external product database. This is taking in information in real time and displaying it inside a chart interface. And we also down here have a Visio services supply chain information. So this as well can be connected to an external data source, and we can see in real time. We could have notifications, or you can actually see where a certain thing is inside of a supply chain, or maybe it's a workflow engine or what have you, but you can start to see how powerful these things are. So just quickly to summarize, that's really the new functionalities and features from the revised functionality wheel. Excuse me. We're more than happy to arrange time to go over these concepts in any greater detail. I appreciate there's so much to cover there that we really have to skim across the top. But definitely try and download the Information Worker demo from Microsoft. You can just plug it into a Hyper-V server and start it up. Get in there, have a play. It's a great starter point to sort of immerse yourself in the new technologies and avoid you having to set up all of these things yourself. But yeah, thank you for your time, and I think I'll hand it back over to Kim now for some questions.
Thanks very much, Mark. Really appreciate that. I know I'm excited about some of those new features. I'd love to see them in our SharePoint site. Now, I'm just opening up all the lines, so if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to ask. No questions. I must admit I thought Mark did an excellent job of explaining all the features there as he went along. If you find that you do have any questions that you think of later on, either contact your account manager direct or feel free to email myself and I will get those questions answered for you. Again, thank you very much everyone for attending our session this morning, and thank you again, Mark, for your excellent presentation.